Hello everyone and welcome to another Presearing video. Working towards titles in Guild Wars is the main motivating factor for many players, and Presearing is no exception. While everyone knows the legendary Defender of Ascalon title, there are a few more titles that you can progress without leaving the area. In this video I will be listing all of the Presearing titles along with a brief explanation on how to obtain them. I hope you'll enjoy. Just before we get started, I wanted to quickly mention account-wide titles. I only want to talk about titles that you can progress while in Presearing, so while there are titles that you can display in Ascalon, like faction titles or some PvP titles, if you can't get them on a fresh account without ever entering post, I won't be discussing them in this video. Alright, let's get started with the first one, the legendary Defender of Ascalon. For many players, this is the reason they first decided to stick around the tutorial area, as LDOA is the only title you can only obtain here and nowhere else in the entire game. To get it, all you need to do is reach level 20 in Presearing, and that's it. While it might sound time-consuming now, in the past getting this title was reserved only for truly the most dedicated Presearing enjoyers. Since the highest level enemies are the char bosses at level 10, that means that after reaching level 16, nothing in the area gave you experience at all, unless you resorted to death leveling. Death leveling, in a nutshell, meant luring some char in the Northlands to the Resurrection Shrine, then unequipping all of your armor and having them kill you over and over as you kept respawning. Since your character was higher level than char, the monsters themselves would get experience from killing you, and eventually they leveled up. Do it for long enough and they will reach a level where you finally start getting experience from them. Since resurrecting is an automated process, most players just left their computer overnight and collected the XP in the morning. Sounds easy, right? In reality, it was one of the most grueling tasks a Guild Wars player can subject themselves to. Luring the char correctly required precision in placing them at the shrine in such a way that they don't just run off at some point while you're waiting for a resurrection in the night. And if you left your character feeding them for too long, you might come back and realize that you're just not strong enough to kill them, and all that time was essentially wasted. Add on to that the fact that in the early days the internet connection wasn't all that great and you might just find yourself disconnected in the morning, and the fact that even if everything went perfectly according to plan, you're still just getting a few hundred experience per day. Getting this title the old-fashioned way used to take several months, if not more. But don't worry, in March of 2011, ArenaNet came to the rescue and introduced Vanguard quests, which made the entire grind much easier. These quests reset every day, grant 1000 experience for completion, and spawn higher level monsters, which makes it so you have easy access to foes giving experience without having to death level them first. Some old school Presearing players weren't too happy with their hard-earned titles being devalued, and while I can sympathize with them, in the end I believe it was for the best. In the developer note to the update we can read, "After all, do you really feel like a legendary Defender of Ascalon after letting the char kill you endlessly?" Nowadays, I think Legendary Defender is a fantastic goal for everyone trying out Presearing for the first time, and I would suggest against following the fastest level 20 in Presearing guides, and instead just exploring the area, enjoying your time and smelling the irises, so to say. And since you don't have to death level anymore, that opened up the possibility of another title, Survivor. To get the Survivor title, all you have to do is obtain 140,600 experience without dying. In the past, dying even once would forever lock you out of the title, but the same March 3rd, 2011 update that introduced Vanguard quests also made it so that the title no longer becomes unobtainable upon dying. Now, it just resets back to 0 with each death and you can still obtain it on that character. With careful play, obtaining the Survivor title along your road to Legendary Defender is perfectly achievable, but even one death in Presearing will set you back tremendously. Since enemies start giving less and less experience, you might find that restarting the character is just way faster than continuing. As an example, getting level 10 is roughly 40,000 experience and can be done in a day. If you die at level 19, getting that 40,000 XP will take you far, far longer, only to be at the same progress towards Survivor as a new level 10 character. You need to weigh the pros and cons yourself. For example, I decided to continue on my character after dying at level 20 because I was attached, but from a mathematical standpoint, it's always faster to just make a new one. But wait! The title isn't fully complete just after finishing Survivor. You can also work towards rank 2 and rank 3 of the title, requiring 587,000 and 1,337,000 XP respectively, both technically achievable in Presearing. In fact, there are a few legendary survivors of Ascalon already, with the first being the Mesmer player Intuition, and since then there's been at least one of each profession except Warrior, so you still have a chance to write your name in the history of our little tutorial area. Getting Legendary Survivor is a monumental undertaking no matter how you go about it, and with even one slip-up capable of wiping away years of progress, it's definitely the most prestigious title you can ever achieve in Presearing. With the 2 experience-based titles out of the way, it's time to rapid-fire 3 consumable titles at the same time: Drunkard, Sweet Tooth, and Party Animal. These titles have 2 ranks, first one at 1000 points and the second one at 10,000, and you can obtain points by consuming alcohol, sweets, or party-related items respectively. There are many ways to obtain these items. Most common ones include daily gifts of the Huntsman from Nicholas Sandford, farming monster drops during events, or trading other players. Out of the 3, alcohol is usually the easiest and cheapest to max, since gifts of the Huntsman give slightly more alcohol points than sweets or party on average, but you will still have to grind for a long time or fork over some serious black dice if you want to finish any of these titles. And if you become known as the legendary defender of Ascalon, the legendary survivor, the incorrigible alehound, the connoisseur of confectionaries and the life of the party, you will have maxed enough titles to unlock the first rank of the Guam title. Kind of a big deal. Unfortunately, in my opinion at least, maxed account-wide titles also count for the progress, so if you see someone in Presearing with this title, it doesn't necessarily mean that they got all 5 maxed titles here. And last but not least, you can progress towards one more title in Presearing, although only during 1 week per year and very, very slowly. I'm talking about the Treasure Hunter title, which you can work towards by collecting golden eggs dropped by enemies during the Sweet Treats week. Picking up a golden egg awards the player 1 point towards the Treasure Hunter title, and based on that information, I think getting rank 1, 2, and maybe 3 of the titles sound pretty obtainable, but any higher than that and we're entering only technically possible territory, with the max rank requiring 10,000 points. Sadly, even if there was a player dedicated enough to forget about sleep every time this event rolls around, there isn't much incentive to do so, as the title is account-wide and there isn't really a good way to prove that you didn't just get all your progress in post. In the end though, you can work on it in Presearing. I know I got almost all of my progress in Presearing, and in my heart, that's all that matters. And that will be it for today's video, so I hope you learned something new, and if you didn't, at least I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Good luck with all of your title adventures, and goodbye.